What's going on, everybody? It's Gabe, and I am back on here today in the second video on my brand new YouTube channel, Watchbox TV. And in today's video, I kind of want to give a little bit of a background story to my decision to become a watch dealer, give you guys a little bit of insight into, the science behind becoming a watch dealer, entering the watch business. And so with that being said, let's get into it. So like I said, this video is going to be about the science behind becoming a watch dealer and everything in between, and format this video, to just hit a couple talking points, get you guys some valuable information, share a little bit about myself, why I entered this business, and go from there. So point one, my decision to become a watch dealer. I've sat around and I've kind of thought about how I wanted to tell this story. And, I think it's very valuable to give a little bit of a background on myself. So with that being said, let's get into it. First things first, if you've ever kept up my career, if you've kept up with me as an athlete, my name is Gabe Neighbors and I am a NFL free agent currently. I played for the Los Angeles Chargers for 2 seasons, went into my 3rd training camp with the organization. And then, after that, after the preseason, they made the decisions and, we went separate ways. Obviously, that bummed me out, but, I've stayed motivated consistently through that process. Being a free agent has definitely afforded me other opportunities off the field. I do want to highlight, obviously being an NFL football player, being a professional athlete is an amazing achievement. Something that, I would consider a very, very big blessing. Something that I'm very, very proud of my accomplishments up to this date. But of course, I'm not satisfied. I always want to continue to grow, always want to continue to push myself. Still training every day as if I have an opportunity waiting for me. I train for about 2 to 3 hours a day. I find myself with a lot of free time, and that is kind of how this business got started. So a little bit of background on me. I played college football at Florida State. After my college career, I was an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. Going into the NFL as an undrafted free agent, you have to approach it with a chip on your shoulder. A lot of undrafted guys don't ever really get a chance to play. And so to be able to say that I started for 2 years on an NFL team is something that I don't take for granted, something that I'm very, very proud of, and something that, one way or another is going to propel me into whatever stage of life is next. Obviously, though, this video isn't about that. This video is about how I became a watch dealer, how I started my watch business. And so today we're going to get into that. But before we do, I kind of want to give a little background story. I've talked about this on my Instagram. I've talked about this on my business Instagram and kind of told the story about how I found my love for watches. Go back 2 years ago, and I was in California. I was playing for a professional football team. I had a little bit of money in my pocket, and I wanted to signify, the success that I had at that point in time. I got connected with an AD in California, and through that connection, I was able to buy my first Rolex, my James Cameron Sea Dweller. Absolutely love this watch. Beautiful watch that I wear every day. Piece that I've always loved, and a piece that, I've grown to love even more since I've owned it. Definitely was very, very excited making the purchase. But of course, as you know, purchasing Rolex or purchasing any luxury watch, it can be a little scary, and it's a big commitment. It's a financial commitment, and you're making a commitment to a brand based on luxury, limited quantity items. Through that process, I learned a lot about the exclusivity of watches, what makes a watch highly sought after. And so all of those lessons I learned through the buying process, I feel really geared me up to take the next step in my watch journey. So we're here to talk about how I started my watch business, how I became a watch dealer, and how I'm actively growing my business, embarking on new journeys with customers, with clients, forming relationships, all the things that you have to do as a business owner. And so let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is, learning the game. Like football, it takes a long time to develop skills. Now, football, obviously, athletics, things of that nature, take a long time, gain the tools, gain the skills that you need to, take your game to a higher level. And it's the same thing with the watch industry. I always approach watches from a client perspective, from a retail perspective, something that if I wanted to watch, or if I was interested in a watch, it was solely for the purpose of me purchasing it to wear. I started to see that there was a real community within the world of watches. I really started to see all the doors and all the possibilities that, working in this industry can, create for you if you work hard. So, like I said, the first thing I started doing was learning the game. Like many of you out there, I joined Facebook groups, some of the most popular ones like Moda, and, kind of sat back and just saw how these dealers, the day-to-day dealers operate. It's very fast. There's a lot of transactions that occur within a given day. And I kind of just was fascinated by the way the watch market moves. The stock market, watches prices go up, watches prices go down based on, whether a model gets discontinued, whether there's only, whether it's a more popular model, things of that nature is all factors whenever you're looking at the prices of pieces. And I found that truly fascinating. Another thing that I want to talk about when, discussing how this business came about, I think it's very, very important to, highlight the importance of the relationships that I made out in California. Being out in California, there was a lot of young people that were very interested in, starting businesses, that were interested in, some of the things that I'm interested in, cars, watches, things of that nature. I found myself running in circles with people that were, success driven. Over time, I really started to form friendships, relationships with people of this caliber. One of the things that I never knew that would, help me really get into this business, the relationships that I was forming. A lot of people that I was, coming into contact with were really into watches. As just a first time buyer of Rolex, just simply owning one was a conversation starter. That was just a way for us to get a conversation going. And so that is one key benefit that I do think that a lot of people, kind of underestimate when you talk about owning a watch, owning a luxury watch, because the people who are into them, the people that can see the value in them, when they see you wearing a watch, it becomes a conversation starter. I've been out at a restaurant or, other places, and people will simply come up and start a conversation simply because, we might have the same watch on or they might have another model on. It's just awesome to be able to see that some doors can open, some, networking possibilities are there simply because of a purchase you make. Something that you wear on a daily basis, that you wear for yourself, can open doors in other avenues. And with that being said, the next point I want to hit on is networking. Guys, if you are a business owner, if you are someone that is trying to expand your reach, if you're someone that's trying to, get your name out there, the power of networking is very, very important. It's something that, you need to consider. It's something that you have to practice. Introducing yourself to people, going out of your way to, make new connections is something a lot of people might take for granted. And it's something that, it does take time to get comfortable with. But once you do, once you start putting yourself out there, once you start forming new, relationships with people, the possibilities are endless. You never know what someone can bring to the table. And so I definitely think it's worth mentioning that networking is key. So now that we've kind of discussed a little bit about, how this business kind of started to form itself, I kind of want to get into the procedures, the things that I had to go through, never really having a business of my own, never really having too much experience. I never really had a job. I never really have been around business owners. And so starting a business of my own from the ground up was definitely a process that I think my story with it can definitely give you guys a little bit of insight. So around March of this year, I was sitting around, I would train in the morning and then I'd find myself with a lot of free time in the afternoons. I would catch myself, coming home, resting and not necessarily being lazy, but I definitely felt like I could be doing more. And so I started, researching things, ways to, start businesses, business ideas. And I kept coming back to the concept of, owning a watch business. So I started like any business owner. I sat down, I planned out, my framework. I thought about, what I wanted to call my business. I did research on, what's required for a watch business, all the things that are necessary. And I will say this from the get-go, I would not be able to, form my business without the help of several dealers in the network that I operate in today. And so for all the dealers out there that have helped me, I thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Without these relationships, without these connections, I might be still stuck in the same position. I might be still trying to figure out how to, get an LLC or, set up insured shipping for clients, things of that nature, things that, until you really pursue it, you really don't know what all goes into it. So like I said, the first thing I did was I set up an LLC in my business's name, Watchbox LLC. And, I kind of went from there. From there, I went and got an EIN. An EIN is a social security number pretty much for your business. In the future, I have goals one day of, expanding my business and maybe, taking on employees, having people that will work with me. And so I went ahead and got an EIN number for those reasons. There's other reasons such as, having a business bank account, which is my next talking point. You gotta have a business bank account if you're trying to start a business. It's just so crucial to, the financing, tracking what's coming in, tracking what's going out, tax reasons, all of those things that, a responsible business owner needs to do. I would prioritize, going and getting a business bank account early if I was a new business owner getting started. The next thing that I had to do was, I kind of had to educate myself. There are several things that, unfortunately can go wrong in this business. Watches get stolen, misplaced, damaged, things of that nature. And so there are several precautionary things that I went ahead and did to, make sure that the clients that deal with me will always have a positive experience. The next thing I want to talk about is insured shipping. When you buy a watch from Watchbox, when you purchase a watch through me, I just want to let all my clients know I can tell you with the utmost confidence that anything that I would ship to you, anything that is coming through the mail is insured. That is simply out of the fact that, once I send that package off, I can have the peace of mind, you can have the peace of mind, and we can both, operate in a manner of comfortability. I want, my clients to leave each deal or each purchase knowing that their money is protected. That's something that I really want to hit on is because, nowadays there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of ways that people try to take advantage of, the world is a crazy place right now. And I just want to let you know that when you deal with me, when you deal with Watchbox, you are getting a professional service. As a professional athlete, I feel that I can speak on what it takes to deliver a professional service. A professional service, requires that you handle everything on your end so that your clients can feel comfortable throughout the process. And that is something that I feel is super necessary, especially as a new business owner. Everything in this game is reputation, your name, making sure that clients have a positive experience, would come back to you again and would refer you to other people. And so insured shipping was definitely a priority on my list. The last thing that I, had to really tap into to, be able to get this business off the ground was capital. Thankfully, as an NFL football player, I am in a position, I am very blessed. I am very humbled to say that I'm in a position that I was able to, use my personal capital to get this business off the ground. If you're a small business owner starting from the ground up with limited funding, there are ways that you can grow. The best way I think about it is that everyone in business has different starting points. Just because I started here doesn't mean that I necessarily will have success. It's going to come down to how hard I work, how well I deliver a product, the services I provide my clients. And just because someone starts, maybe they start a little bit smaller. Maybe they have to get their finance or their credit right before they embark on their business journey. Just because you have to start a few steps behind does not mean that you cannot grow, does not mean that you cannot deliver a great service to your clients. Whatever business you're embarking on, do not be discouraged. Investing in yourself, investing in a business, and betting on yourself is one of the best things that you can do. A lot of the success that I've had in my business simply comes from hard work. And at the end of the day, that's just the truth. Hard work beats a lot of things in life. Going out of your comfort zone and trying your hardest to grow, it's going to take time. And so with that being said, I would encourage anyone that is trying to start a new business to, take the leap. Obviously, people have to work jobs, people have to have their bills paid. At the end of the day, if you're, passionate about something, if you're ready to embark on your business journey, do not let anything hold you back. So we've kind of talked about, the backbone of my business. When I started this business, I would be able to, deliver a good service off rip. From the first watch I sold, I wanted to make sure that this didn't feel like a business that I was still, trying to put together while providing a service. I wanted to make sure I had my systems in place, my CRM, so I can track my client relationships. If a client hits me up for a watch, where are we at in that process? Things of that nature. And so I really wanted to make sure that, I was ready to go from the first watch I sold so that every experience from that point on would be the same. But the next talking point that I want to hit on is how do I get watches? How I can keep my prices competitive with everybody else's, and how does that process look? So if you're into watches, if you're into, dealer circles, if you're on Moda, if you've, watched YouTube, if you've looked at other types of, avenues for watches, a lot of the people talk about it, and it's no secret now in today's age that the way you get watches is through vetted dealer groups. The groups where I source my inventory today comes from small vetted dealer groups. Personally speaking, I had to spend a little bit of money. I see this as a business investment to be able to, establish myself, get inventory, show that I am committed to this business and that I'm not playing games. The people in these groups take what they do seriously, and there's no difference. The other way you get into groups, the other way that I was able to source inventory is through making connections with dealers. If a dealer hits me up and needs a piece, and the price is right, obviously would love to make that work because, obviously making connections is everything and anything in business. The best way to get into a dealer group if you're trying to, start a watch business is, start making those connections and start doing deals. One of the things that I want to hit on also is that these dealer groups that I'm in, the way I'm able to source inventory definitely gives me comfort knowing that the people that are in these groups, they're also passionate business owners as well. This is a serious business. This is a serious, group or groups that, I'm involved in, and these people definitely take what they do seriously. Obviously, I would not purchase a watch that was not authentic, and I would not sell a watch to a client that was not authentic. The people that I'm sourcing inventory, I've done deals with before, operate with a sense of comfort, knowing that the deals that we're doing, are out of a space of trust and, out of a space of, a strong relationship that we've built. All respect to any future clients. Obviously, I would love to, have a conversation. If you're looking for a new piece, if you're looking for something in a budget range, I would love to help you with that. So guys, as you can see, I am not in the same clothes. My hair's braided. That is because technical difficulties did occur. My camera died. My battery, just gave out on me. In business, things happen. You got to adapt. You got to, fix mistakes, and you got to go back and make sure that you still finish what you started. And so my whole purpose is coming to you now and saying thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Hopefully you were able to take something away from today's video. Anything that you can apply to your business, maybe motivate you. And at the end of the day, that's all I can hope for. And so for everyone that's watching, for everyone that tuned in, I appreciate it. I hope to get some calls from you guys. Hope to get some messages coming into my DMs. My business is now at Watchbox, WOTCHBOX on Instagram. And so, yeah, if you guys are looking for something, if you guys want to come by and chat, I'm always up. I'm always ready to talk. So, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning into today's video. Please give this one a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and let's continue to build this thing. Appreciate you guys.